Hello there. My name is Mrs. Oldman. I am Head of Geography, the Learning Leader, and the purpose of this presentation is to help Year 8 and their parents to have some information about GCSE Geography to enable them to make some informed choices of whether geography is for them. Within geography, a number of books will be used which link directly to our exam board. We are doing EDUCAS. We're doing EDUCAS Syllabus B, which is that one there, and it links to the main exam board, which was part of WJEC. So the course you'll do is very much all about expressing opinion. It enables you to develop your answers fully. And in order to do that, there's a number of books that we are going to use. So the first book here, this is the book that we will be asking you to buy during Year 9, and this will help you through your course for GCSE, and it helps you with revision, and we set work from this book in order to embed what we do in class. This middle book here, this is what we use in the lessons, and we use this as part of our context with some examples in, and it's got some exam questions in there also. And the final book that we use in class is this one here, which focuses on your skills, and those skills could be map skills, it could be graph skills, it could be math skills, and it helps you to do your field work, where you're going to have one of your exam papers in Year 11 will be based on that field work. So why choose geography? Obviously, I'm a geography teacher, so I'm going to be advertising and saying how wonderful the subject is. And the reason that I truly believe it's such a brilliant subject is it makes sense. It's about the world that you live in. It's about the world that you see. It's about the world that you hear about. It's about the world that you experience every single day of your life. It is hands-on and it's totally relevant to what's in the news. It's relevant to climate change. It's relevant to housing shortages that we have at the moment in the UK. It's relevant to what has happened in terms of natural disasters when there might be a flood or an earthquake that happens. So geography is all about trying to find yourself and put yourself in the world that we are in and how you affect that world and how that world affects you. We look at things to do with the environment. We obviously look at things to do with urban issues. We look at development, where you've got rich countries and poor countries. We look at extreme environments like droughts and shortages of water. We look at rivers and coasts, climate change, pollution, plus many, many more. Now, we try and link it to the news. So obviously there's things in the news with current affairs, things that happen locally and also things that happen globally. And we try and bring that into our geography lessons so that it makes it totally relevant and that you can actually see the context in which you're learning. The topics that you are going to study for your GCSE, there's three main themes that we follow. So theme one is very much focusing on urban. It's all about how places change. It's all about how global cities, and in particular, we do Sydney, and we look at Mumbai. And these cities are changing constantly. We look at the problems in these cities and whether the solutions to those problems are actually working or whether there is more to be done. We look at how things are changing in the UK, so how our cities, our urban environment and our rural environment, our villages are changing, maybe to do with population change, maybe to do with pressure, maybe to do with too many visitors coming to national parks, in terms of shopping, how shopping has changed and how that again has changed the UK as a whole. And then the last section that we then look at is the area where we look at global development, and we look to see about rich and poor countries. So these poor countries, are they always going to stay poor? How can we help them to get them rich? Do we need to improve trade with them? Or is the answer aid? And we have a debate between these two issues. We look at the role of globalization. Is globalization a good thing? Has everybody benefited from this? Or maybe there are some winners and some losers so that we end up with what we know as uneven development. The second topic that we look at is changing environments, and you'll be more familiar with these because this is the kind of thing that you've probably remembered from your Key Stage 3. So we look at coasts and coastal management. We look at rivers and how we can manage rivers and flooding. We look at weather and climate. So again, looking at why we get sunny weather, or we might get wind, or we might get rainy weather. And we also look at extreme weather events, of what the results are and what the causes are. We similarly go back to climate change and again try and debate of whether climate change is to do with people, or what the evidence is that it's actually a physical phenomena that was going to happen anyway. Okay, so these kinds of things that you're going to be very familiar with, and we try and again link it to specific places like the Holderness Coast or to the River Nile, and we try and look at things like tropical climates so that it comes into context for you, so you understand the information through a location. The third topic that you will do overall is about environmental challenges. So this one's all about ecosystems. So we take ecosystems like tropical rainforests, like the semi-arid grasslands, which you would probably know as savanna, and we try and think about how these ecosystems work in terms of food webs and about the weather that they have and the climate that they have, and how these elements try to drive these ecosystems. Unfortunately, some of these ecosystems are under threat. They're being destroyed so we can have food and fuel and water. So we look at some of the ecosystems that are suffering. And again, we look at what is going on and whether there are some sustainable management ideas that can be put into place. The next thing we look at is water. So there's a shortage of water in some places, but then there's too much water in others. So we look at the idea of this imbalance of water. We look at the distribution and also the idea that some rivers cross over many countries and there's a demand for that water, and whether that can be rather a problem and cause a little bit of conflict. Desertification is the idea that the land is drying out. So again, is this to do with people, human ideas and human pressures, or is it a natural phenomena? Again, we look at sustainable management in order to try and work out if there's anything that we can do about that. So again, at the bottom, I've given you some examples of locations and some places that we try and use in order to demonstrate that particular topic. So those are the three main themes, the overall topics. And if you're interested in some of those topics, you think, yes, this is for me, then I would say that geography for GCSE would be a really good option for you to follow through. Now, how are you going to be assessed? Well, there's 3 exams. Those themes, all 3 of them, you will have being assessed in this exam here in paper 1. You will then on paper 2, they will choose some of those themes and they will bring them into paper 2. And then on paper 3, this is your field work, which is a separate section. And for field work, we try and take you for 2 field work outings locally. One usually into Leicester, into our local city. And then either we go to a national park or we try and go to the coast to try and do your physical. And then those 2 trips and what you learn on those trips, we can then apply and use for that 3rd exam, which is an hour and a half long. So another thing you might think about is, well, why do I want to do geography? What skills am I going to gain? Well, communication and teamwork is a good one. Good debates, good conversations, working with a partner, working in pairs, working in groups. Your fieldwork skills, again, you're not just going to collect data, but you're going to present data. You're going to analyse the data. You're going to evaluate these skills that you use. So it's quite sort of hands-on, and we try and do a number of different skills. It's quite a good subject because it pulls in a bit of maths, a little bit of science, and a bit of English. We use these skills during the lessons, and they will be used in your exam. And you write some debates, you try and express opinions, which again, your opinions are vitally important. You use IT to try and do some research and analysis. We sometimes use IT in a bit of field work, again, to collect, present, and interpret some patterns. Very good for your social skills and very good for your technical skills. So employers love the fact that you do geography because it's an all-rounding transferable skills subject, which is good for a number of different jobs. They call geography for GCSE and for A-level something called a facilitating subject. which means that because it draws on so many different skills, lots of university courses enjoy taking people on with these skills, and also employers like to take people on with these skills because it's sort of all encompassing and all open. So it keeps your options open. So you do your GCSE geography, you might decide to stay with us and do some A-level, which would be absolutely brilliant. You might decide to go on somewhere or stay in Lutterworth College and do another A-level. But the fact you've got that GCSE is really, really good, because there's lots of different jobs that you can use that in. So things, whether you are working for a local government or whether you're going to work for private businesses or be a consultant, your GCSE geography will help you to do that. It helps you with things whether you are going to work for the environment and be somebody that's concerned or planning the environment. Whether you're going to work in the transport sector, whether you're going to be to do with planning or work for national parks or conservation, even going into the army and the police, and whether you're thinking of going into law, geography skills help to build those, and they love the practical skills that geographers actually develop. So is geography for you? You are the only one that can make that decision. And obviously, if you put it down as your option, we will be thrilled to see you. So, Mrs. Alderman, Mr. Hill, Mr. Holden and Miss Ryder would obviously thoroughly enjoy to teach you for 3 years to do your GCSE geography and share with you on that journey. Thank you for listening, and I hope it has helped you to make up your decisions of which options you would like to do.